You know, something I've always wanted to do when I was younger, but never could, is complete Shadow Rat and Cat or challenges on FNaC Candies 3, but better. Now, the thing is, when I was growing up, younger, I did not have a skill in me to even do this. Nor did I even have the right equipment to even do this. But now I do. And things changed. So before I get into my completion of R&CAC, I'll sound just OGLP, I want to go over why I did this challenge in the first place fully and what this game's about. So let's go over the base game first. In the base game, you play as a young Mary Schmidt. And this young Mary Schmidt would have nightmares. And in her nightmares, she would have to fight off animatronics, just like Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The difference between both of these games are how you fend off the animatronics, though. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you would have to close the doors and listen for breathing to fend off against an animatronic at your door. But in FNaC Candies 3, you would have to shine the flashlight into the monster's eyes when it entered the room. Then they would go under the bed, and then you need to lead them out from under the bed, and then they would exit the room after you flashed them. Now, within this night, you have a cassette tape to manage. Now, this cassette tape makes the night go twice as fast, from 8 minutes to roughly 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, this cassette tape doesn't stay on the whole night, though. This cassette tape needs to be managed by rewinding it. You repeat this cycle for the whole night. Now, within the nights, after you completed night 1, in the later nights, Pat would appear on the side of your bed, and you would just have to, flash your light on him, and then he would just leave. And with that, that's basically FNaC Candies 3. But the thing about these games is they're very easy, and them being easy, it's very boring, and these games were very boring, especially FNaC Candies 2. But the only challenge of the game was the final night, and the final night's still really easy. The only hard part about this game is the shadow challenge, all challenges, which isn't that hard, but you want to know what really is hard? Final night, all challenges. That's a nightmare. I don't know if I'm going to do that. But that's not what I'm trying to get into right now. What I'm trying to get into is FNaC Candies, but better. Now, what FNaC Candies, but better is that it's a series of mods made for the game FNaC Candies 1, 2, and 3 to make the game better. Because, everybody would have almost the same mechanics, like in FNaC Candies 1, except Blank. He had a different mechanic, but that's literally it. And in FNaC Candies 2, all you have to do is just, ring some phones, and then they will go straight to it. And that's literally it. Everybody was the same except for Penguin. And in FNaC Candies 3, like I said, you have to do the same exact thing for 5 nights, and then that's pretty much it. But with FNaC Candies, but better, is that everybody's given a very new, unique mechanic instead of everybody's doing the same thing. Now you're probably asking, what changed in FNaC Candies 3? Well, a lot. In FNaC Candies 3, Rat works pretty much the same way, except he moves a lot and twitches more. Cat's been given a full rework and will now do attacks similar to Rat's attacks, except now he will go into the room, go into the bed. You need to lead him out from the bed, and then he would do his attack. Now, you might see where this is a problem now. If you add both to the night, now you need to stall Rat at the doors to fight Cat. Now, if you were to stall Rat at the doors, then at any given moment, if they were both to enter the room at the same time, then you would just instantly die. Here's the cycle for the night. You'd have to stall a Cat at the door, then you would fight off Rat. And then, after you're done fighting Rat, then you will fight Cat and stall Rat at the door while you're doing that. And then, you fight off Cat, and then you repeat the cycle. Now that's pretty much it for the night. But this isn't just Rat and Cat. This is Rat and Cat all challenges. Now, there are 5 additional challenges into the game that makes it, harder. Now, the first 2 challenges you would probably put on is the Shadow Rat and the Shadow Cat challenges. Because, that changes the entire cycle of the night. So, probably those 2 first. Now what changes is that Cat will stay under the bed. And once you start the night, he will instantly enter the bed and never leave. One time he will leave is when he's about to exit. And once he exits, he will do his attack, and then he had 2 phases instead of just 1. And then, after you're done with the first phase, he will go to the other 3 positions of the room, and then you have to fight him there. And with Rat, he's pretty much the same, except he twitches way more and moves faster. Now on to Classic Cat. Classic Cat is pretty much the same, except in the vanilla game, you would just make him go away with the flashlight. But this time, every time you make him go away, he would just go to the other side of the bed. And you can use this to your advantage. Now, before you lure Shadow Cat from under the bed, you would want to put Shadow Cat on the other side of the room. Because once you're done fighting Shadow Cat, once he switches his position from the first phase, he goes to the middle or the other side where Classic Cat is. But if you don't do that, then he'll progress, because he progresses way faster when you're not looking at him. Now for the hard cassette challenge. This doesn't really do much, except makes the tape player more important. All it does is, if you're not playing it for a certain amount of time, then you just pass out and go to sleep, and then you lose a night. But more importantly, the night goes from 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 8 whole minutes. What this means is that you have to control your nerves for 8 whole minutes instead of just 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Now with the laser pointer, it just makes your vision smaller and you have to get used to it. But other than that, it's pretty much free. Now let's go over the cycle of the night. So first, you will want to play the tape player with your cat under the bed, and then go to the same side as him. Now this must seem like a pretty stupid idea. Wouldn't you die to cat by doing that? But if rat were to spawn on the same side as shadow cat, then you would lose because you wouldn't saw him in time. Now once you get to the same side as shadow cat, flash classic cat down and then wait until you hear knocking at the doors. That'll be rat knocking at the doors, and then you need to stall him. Look for him and stall him at the doors, and then go to the other side of classic cat, then lure him out from the bed, and then do his attack. After that, do rat's attack, but make sure you don't stall him at the doors, or else they'll pretty much guarantee a game over. Now go to classic cat, and then if he's on the same side as rat, then just flash him down a bit, but don't flash him down all the way, or else will make him go to our side. But if rat isn't on the same side as classic cat, then flash classic cat all the way down, because then this will mean rat is on the other side of the room or in the middle. So flash him all the way down, and then do rat's attack. Once rat goes under the bed, stop and rewind the tape player. Look under the bed for rat. If you see rat, go to the opposite side of him. But if you see shadow cat, then go to the same side as him, because rat will always come up before shadow cat. And then that's pretty much it. That's what you gotta do for the whole night. Now, you might be wondering, did you already do this challenge though? I see it right here on your channel. But I didn't do this particular challenge of this video. I'm doing R&CAC all challenges, OG laser pointer. Now, if you type in Twitcher on your keyboard on the menu screen, then this will enable the OG laser pointer. Now what this does is it goes to the 3.0 laser pointer. Now the 3.0 laser pointer is when the laser pointer was very hard in 3.0 of the game. What this does is it shrinks the flashlight size and the hitboxes on the enemy's heads. It can get very, very more difficult because you need to be faster and have very, very precise aim. Now the OG pointer is the hardest challenge in FNaC 3. Now that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do for the night. But let's go on how I was doing with the challenge. 3 a.m. New best. New best. New best. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm like that. Progress is being made. What is going on? What was that? What? No! No! Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes.
It's over. I'm done with this stupid challenge.